Welcome to Under the Covers, where we talk to your favorite YouTube drummers and get behind the scenes of their covers and their channels. Before we dive in, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel using these buttons below, and do the same thing for our featured drummer. You'll find links for the channels and videos and anything else we discuss in the description. Let's get started.
Hey,
Ash,
how's it going?
it's going, man. How are you?
I'm very good. This is a great idea, and I really appreciate me being the first one. It's very exciting.
No worries, man. I think I'm really excited about this. I can't lie to you. My first and foremost, my favorite thing is meeting new people. The second part of it is that drummers are always interesting people. Every drummer I've ever met in my entire life is just a really fun person. So,
Yeah,
so it's like two-part for me. Like, I not only get to meet new people, but
uh,
I get to meet other drummers, which
yeah, yeah. I
we're
think
in
that's why
danger.
we've got such a good community. Everyone's just awesome. Everyone I've interacted with is just amazing. I think it's a great group of people.
I didn't know you were from the
Yeah,
UK. That's the
yeah,
other thing, is that you see people when they're playing and you make these, I don't know if you do this, but I like make these mental assumptions about, where you live and who you are. And
yeah,
and I would have never guessed. So
yeah.
so
So I'm
so
from an area in the UK called Wiltshire. So it's
okay.
like the southwest. Kind of Bristol and Bath. Have you heard of Bristol and Bath?
Both.
Yeah, yeah. So that area. Born and bred, always lived here. Grew up in a town called Trowbridge. Now I live in a town called Melksham, which is the next town.
Oh, very cool.
I just kind of ended up here. Been here for about 10 years now. So I've got two kids. I got Felicity, who's 8, and Thomas, who is 6. And I'm married to Claire. We've been together for 10 years and married for 8. I hope I've got that right.
Hopefully, because if she sees this.
Yeah.
Stone
So, yeah,
Stonehenge is in the area, at least in the
not far away.
yeah.
Yeah, not far away at all. Not far away at all. Probably about
Are you?
45-minute drive.
I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask you anyways because this isn't for me; it's for everybody else. How long have you been playing for?
Oh, wow. So this coming May will be 3 years.
Oh wow.
So I started in 2019.
Okay.
So it was my birthday. So it would have been my 37th birthday. My wife remembered me telling her a story about how when I started secondary school, which I guess you guys would call high school,
Yep.
there was like an opening evening. You'd go around and see the school, meet people, and then there was a part where you chose a musical instrument. And I was drawn, I don't know why, I was drawn to the drums.
Hmm.
Okay. But of course, my parents, and I don't blame them at all, talked me out of that. Right. So that would have been in the early 90s. So, e-kits aren't what they are now, and it would have been a very noisy hobby. So I ended up playing the guitar, and I never got that good at it. The teachers we had at school weren't that good. I did find my mum found an independent one who was great, but I never felt it was that good, and I didn't really put my heart and soul into it. So since about 16, I haven't played anything. So I told my wife that story about how I wish I had played the drums. And the
Hmm.
next thing she knows, she finds a local drum teacher called John Joy, who I'm still with, and bought me 2 lessons for my birthday. And I still remember the first lesson. It's like, wow, okay, here we go. Never played an instrument before. Very basic, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and
Right.
it was just great. And then I had those 2 lessons, and then just kept on going every week. From the get go, John's awesome. We're about the same age, and we've got similar age kids, so we get on like a house on fire. So that helps as well. That I get to hang out, and it's the only other person apart from my family I see at the moment, particularly through lockdown and everything.
Right.
So we get on really well. But yeah, he's just a great teacher, very thorough. Had me reading sheet music from day one, which I still do now as part of my covers, and that's how I learn stuff so quickly.
Hmm.
And in the first year we did like grade one book. So I finished the grade one book and I thought, let's start showing people what I've been doing because I hadn't really talked about it to anyone. So I published a video, which is my first ever cover, which is still on my channel,
Hmm.
which was Bruno Mars, Uptown Funk.
Ah, yeah.
But it's in the grade one book. So I just did that on my kit and I posted it. I think I just posted it on my Facebook and just like everyone, well, look what I've been doing for a year.
Right.
And I had some really positive comments. So then I started looking into YouTube, and then I'd use YouTube to watch stuff, but never publish anything.
Hmm.
And I just that's where my channel started.
So and that was one of the questions that I even had for you is that
Mm.
so when you started posting videos, it was really just to show friends like this is what a year's worth of drum lessons.
Yeah,
Okay,
very
very
much
cool.
so.
Very cool. Why don't you plug your teacher? Like, tell me about your sensei there.
Yeah, that's the right terminology. So John Joy, yeah, he's from this area as well.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know a lot about his background. I know he's done some recordings for people, and he does a lot of gigs. So he'll do a lot of local theatre. So I know he's just done Jesus Christ Superstar,
Okay.
and he does lots of productions like that. He's great. He's like I said, he's very thorough. He's got a PhD in a doctorate in
Oh, really?
drumming. So that he's just an expert, and it's funny. He's got a really odd approach. He's got a very dry sense of humor, and he will often kind of take the mickey out of you, but in a good way, in a funny way. And he really pushes you. And with the grade book I'm on, there'd be a track. Okay, I think I've done it, and
Mhm.
then I'll play it for him. He says it's 99%. So there's my okay, this is good, and everybody else's this is good. Okay, this would be a cover, and then there's the next level quality for my teacher. So he really pushes me. Like until he says it's ready, I never assume that I'm done with a piece of work he sent me.
Is
So,
your drum teacher one of your subscribers?
yes, he's on there, John Joy, and actually on my channel homepage where you can feature different things, I feature his drum channel. He doesn't post a lot on his channel. There is some recent play-alongs on though there from about a year ago.
Cool.
But he's on there. And on my website, there's a link to his website at the bottom of my website.
Okay. For your drum lessons, is he focusing like do you read sheet music for songs? Or are you working on the rudiments too, or is it a combination of both?
Yeah, so it tends to be kind of pre-opening the grade book, we'll work through the techniques of that grade.
Hmm.
So the last thing we'll do when we're working on the grade is open the book. That's the conclusion to it. Okay, play these. He teach me all of those individual techniques, rudiments, anything that goes with it. And sometimes, if he notices a bad technique, like recently, he noticed that with my left hand, when it's not playing, I put it down on my leg. And it's then when I suddenly have to use it, it's not in a good place and it's a bit lazy. So
Hmm.
he noticed stuff like that, and he's noticed stuff with my bass drum. And then all of a sudden, for a week or two, right, we're fixed that, or he'll give me stuff to work on that to improve it. So it's
Hmm.
got a very natural flow to his lessons. Yeah, it's technique, it's rudiments, it's reading the music. It's okay, I've spotted this, let's fix that. Sometimes he just teach me a great cover because he wants to. And then obviously we finish with the book. We finish the book, and then we start for the next one. So I'm on grade 3 at the moment.
I gotcha. And what type of music does he generally teach you, or
Oh
what's his
wow,
background?
we have similar tastes, but I know that he really likes kind of late 80s, early 90s stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
very very
flailing.
heavy. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
very much so.
very cool.
Yeah.
Not that I mean, just for reference, like one of the things that I regret the most is when I started playing in school. So I
Mhm.
learned to read sheet music and learn the rudiments. And then when you get to be 20 years old and you're in a band, it's about the band and drinking and other stuff. And then I ended up putting a lot of that stuff aside and or getting away with it. And that's if I have one regret, that's really the one that I have. And I noticed when I was watching your videos, because not everybody has the music stand and the sheet music off to the side. And I noticed that you had it and you were looking at it. I was going to ask you about it because there's a lot of drummers that really put that stuff aside, either that natural talent or whatever. But
Yeah.
you know, I wish I couldn't. I probably could read the music if I wanted to right now, but it would take me some time just to get acclimated.
Going back to what you were just saying about the sheet
Please.
music, I'm really glad you brought that up, because a lot, I especially when I first started, I got lots of mixed comments on Facebook. Some people were like, "Put that sheet music away. What are you doing? Play, feel it, play it." And it was like, okay, it's more of a negative. And then some people were like, "Oh my God, I wish I could play along to it. I wish I was that disciplined." So it gets a real mixed vibe. And I guess if I had to explain it, for me, because I put out so many covers, it gets rid of that learning curve of learning the song off by heart. Okay. Now, by the time I record the cover, I pretty much do know it off by heart. It's a security blanket as well, right? It's just there. I can see it. So, I know these songs, but I like to follow it. But yeah, it does get mixed reviews. But what I think what I want my channel to be all about is note for note perfect drum covers. So when it comes to feeling the music and improvising, I hope to be able to do that. I've never ever tried, and I don't. I would like to do that, and I'd like that to add that to my skill set. But to be 100% accurate on the song, there's no better way than, of course, I'm only as good as the sheet music I get. But I mean, by following music note for note, you can't beat it. But yeah, I like how disciplined it was. But like I said, I didn't really know how to play without it, so it kind of works all around.
Yeah, I really personally think that a combination of both things. You need to have the core to be able to do the feel. Really, you have to have a sense of rhythm and timing first before all else, and that's you're not going to pull from sheet music. But that's especially when you're talking about anything outside of like jazz drummers or professionals. We all have day jobs, so it's hard to really focus in on your craft. But it's the worst thing you can do by not focusing on your craft. And I personally, I don't think that I'm that good at all. I think I'm probably mediocre at best. But what I do see when I watch other drummers is problems with their technique. Either, they're too rigid with their arms and not using their wrists, or, they have no finger technique, or, just making it harder for themselves by not knowing the technique in the first place. Tell me about your kit.
Okay, so
oh, look at
here
you!
It
That's
is.
sharp. You're all technically savvy and stuff.
I am, and again, it's something I've learned along the ways. Is I started live streaming. I think I've done 3 or 4 live streams now, and I just love technology, and I've learned that. So I thought I'll plug it in. I'm sure you want to see the kit. So this is my 3rd kit.
Okay.
So it's a Roland TD17 KVX. The only thing that's different on it is I upgraded the ride symbol. So it's a 15 instead of a 13. So this is the upgraded ride. That's the only thing I changed since I got it. So the first kit I had, I can't remember what make it was. I just bought it cheap. It was once after my first 2 lessons, I was like, okay, let me get a cheap kit. So I found one on like Facebook Marketplace, and it was like 50 quid. And it served its purpose. And then, of course, as I was practicing a lot, I thought, right, let's get a new kit. So I got a Roland TD1 DMK.
Okay. Now,
So
is that
very
a
similar.
mesh head? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's mesh head. Yeah, it's this size tom here. I'm sorry, I can't remember what size it is, but it had the same size. All 4 were the same size, and it was a lot smaller frame. A decent module, but very basic. No screen or anything. You weren't loading samples in. It was what it was. And that, I had that for a good year. And it was a great kit. And then I was talking to my teacher, who was actually connected to Roland, and I was like, I started researching, and it was like, yeah, the TD17 KVX. That's what I want because I want to feel the real hi hat.
Yeah.
So up until this kit, I'd only had a pedal on the floor, apart from when I played at the teacher's kit. So that was the big draw. So having a proper hi hat, and an ex-student of his was selling his, and it was the exact spec I wanted, and for a decent price. So I wasn't planning to get it so soon, but this guy had it for sale, and I took it off him, and I had this since I want to say June, July time. And yeah, I just love it, absolutely love it. Of course, the benefit is for the recording, of acoustic, you need microphones, right, and everything. But wham bam, plug it in, good to go. But no, it's a great module. I've also got a mixer down here. This is a Behringer mixer, which I use for my live streaming. So I'd have a microphone go in it and the kit in that, and then that runs to my iMac, which I'm talking to you on. But yeah, it's great. I absolutely love it. Basically, I got it during lockdown because my drum lessons went to Zoom. So I still had my weekly drum lesson, but we did it over Zoom. So yeah, that's why I got it. And it just made those Zoom lessons a lot better. And then, of course, I'm really glad I got it because those Zoom lessons stopped and I started live streaming. So I needed it for that. So it worked out really well in the end.
That's very cool.
I've only ever played Roland as well. So from my drum teacher and me, I've never played anything but a Roland.
They are nice. I've sat down to one. They're really nice kits.
But for me, it's like the Apple of drum kits, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. The Rolands though are the closest thing to a real kit that I've ever played without being one. And I've sat down to the really nice ones, but I see the benefits, especially when you're talking about YouTube covers, because you don't have to worry about tunings, you don't have to worry about clipping, you don't have to worry about really a whole bunch of anything. So very neat.
And of course, when I did get this kit, I went a bit mental on getting samples, right? Because my TD1, I couldn't do that. So I've got lots from Drum Tech. So I've got their metal premium pack. I've got their classic rock. I haven't got every kit, but this is another thing. Since having this module, I'm now changing the sound. And I'm choosing different kits for different covers that I do, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because originally on my TD1, I said it was MIDI only. So I had to use MIDI on Logic X Pro. And there you could change the sound. And I didn't really do that. But what I found was, particularly at the beginning when I'd make little mistakes, I was so easy to go in and just tidy it up. And it felt like I was cheating a bit. So when I got this one, I've never used MIDI on it. It's a live performance. So there's no sound mixing, there's no corrections of it. I might do some vague fading in, fading out, or adjust the volume levels, but what you're hearing, particularly on this kit, is 100% pretty much live. There's no me tweaking it. Where in the past in MIDI, I might have tweaked it a little bit, if I'm honest with you.
I'm really particular about that. If I'm going to put something forward, it's going to be something that I didn't alter. Like the only thing I really do is EQ my stuff. I don't. I might clip out noise or parts where the drum's not being played, but I really don't want to change it any.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you that I'm sure all your viewers want to know. Where did the signature double horns before you play that's your thumbnail in every single one? So I'm curious where it came from.
I don't even know. I'd really like to look back. Actually, I will look back and see what was the first cover I did it on. You know what I mean? I must have just started doing it on a cover because, with my first few ones, you don't know what to do. You know what I mean? Do you wave? Do you do a thumbs up?
Yeah.
So I just started doing that. And then it kind of turned into two things. And actually, I explained this on my first ever live streaming, which is a live question and answer. Was it's that, but also it has a double meaning because do you know what that is? Which is too sweet. Sure. It's a wrestling thing back in the 90s with the NWO and WCW, WWE. That's a wrestling thing. Okay. So I'm actually doing that as well at the same time. So it's got a double meaning. So it kind of just formed into that. But like I said, I think I just started doing it, and it has become, it's part of a lot of my branding, and the way I always put that in a comment or a thank you, and it's just kind of stuck. So now and again, somebody will say, "Oh, that's only for metal," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but it's my thing now." But yeah, I think I just started doing it either at the end or at the beginning. It must have been one of the first like songs I
Yeah.
did. But yeah, even though I'm looking at one of the thumbnails of one of my first ever covers, and I'm there just like this, hi, like you
Yeah.
don't know what to do. So yeah, that's where it came from. But yeah, that's a cool question. Oh, here we go.
There you
There it is.
go. Oh.
Yeah, that's why it's for my live streaming.
I think I'm just gonna have you do all my production moving forward, actually.
With the live streaming, I love technology, and I'm using OBS Studio, what I use for my live streaming. But getting to know it, it's just like a mini production like unit. It's incredible. And of course, this is a virtual camera on Zoom, so this is going for OBS, which is how I'm getting that going.
Yeah,
It's just
which is
great,
also really
and
neat.
yeah, and I love technology, and so I love that part of doing the covers as well, the editing, everything. So yeah, with my videos, originally I think I've always had two camera angles. I mean, my first few that you look at, I think I had my iPhone on the music stand pointing
Mhm.
at me with a front camera, and then I think I used a second one behind me. So I've always used more than one camera angle. And then I was like, okay, this is cool. I want some more angles. But of course, most people just do a cover and switch between each angle, don't they? Whereas, from mine, I have every angle on the screen at the same time. I think that's quite a unique look, and I haven't
Mhm.
seen a lot of other people do it. So the complicated thing was having the three camera angles because if it's two, that's quite easy to distribute. If
Yeah.
it's four-way split screen, but with the three, I had to come up with something a bit different, and I think that gives me a unique look. So I have the
Mhm.
two that are here. So I have one here, and then the bigger one here. Now, actually, the bigger one is just angled, so I know where the other two are going to be. So it's kind of, and with the framing, it looks like it's one camera angle, but actually it's kind of just smart editing. But I think the way I use my camera angles and doing that, and of course my collaborations, I always have split everyone's on the screen at the same time. Other people's collaborations would, they would share you know, they would go through each angle and each drummer. Not often the drummer's on the screen at the same time. With mine, we're both on the screen at all times. And if they've only got one camera angle, I just double them up in different corners, and then
Very
I'll be in
cool.
the other two corners. So I think
So
I think I have a unique look when it comes to my production.
tell me about your collaborations on
Oh
Facebook and
man,
Instagram.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't even know why I got. I mean, I think for me, what led to me really taking off was DrumMan 190 when I got his shout out on his Drummers to Watch series.
Yep.
So, and then coming into the community, then I think the first group I joined um, on Facebook was Drummers to Watch, and then getting to know people, seeing they were doing collaborations. It was like, okay, I really want to do collaborations with people. I think I contacted a couple of people and never really heard from them. Um, I put something together with a guy, but he'd already done his cover, and I just added mine to it. And then I then asked Matthew from DrumMan 190, and that was one of the first collaborations I did. And I just absolutely loved it. But I've always done it in that unique way with everybody on the screen at the same time. So I always did the video editing
Mhm.
and the audio editing. So I took the lead on that. And then, yeah, it was just as I was getting to know people in the community where we would be talking, it would be, hey, do you want to do a collab? Okay, great. And then it kind of just stemmed from there. And then I didn't have to ask anybody anymore because people were asking me to do a collaboration with me, which it's an honor, and I'm really glad to be in that position where I almost have a waiting list of people to work with, which is absolutely amazing. But it's just another great thing about communities all working together. and you get to know that person even more by messaging them. You know, it's contact is still very little, even with the collaborations, but you're still messaging these people and really getting to know them. Got some really close friends out of it. I mean, Daddy Drums, David. I would call him a true friend, actually, and we've never even met in person. We've done a bit over video call. We're trying to work something out for a future live collaboration, potentially. It's a pain in the ass, though, with the delay.
Yeah.
But, you know, so he's a close friend. You know, Eric at Dramatic, we've become really close. It's just a really great way. And then, of course, I started my own Facebook group. I wanted to do my own Facebook group, but how do you stand out, right? There's so many drum ones. And then I was thinking, and I just had a eureka moment. Collaborations, of course. Well, how did I not think about this before? So it's called Two Drums, and yeah, it's my Facebook group where we've got 126 members now. It's only been up for 2 or 3 months. So what I feared that it would just be me posting my collaborations, but actually everyone posts all the time, and there's people that I didn't even know from other communities that have joined. And it's not just for drum and drum collaborations, it's any collaboration, you know what I mean? If it's guitar and drum, obviously it's called Two Drums because that's the most common one and where I go with it most of the time, but any collaboration. And yeah, it's really picking up, and it's really great to bring the community together myself and do a group. And yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So I'm surprised we didn't see the Two Drums Facebook thing rise from the bottom of the screen.
Well, I nearly switched to one. I did nearly switch to one. Where is it? Is that it? Yeah, that's it.
There you go. There you go. That's better. That's
Two
what
Drums.
I thought.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun. And again, I'm doing stuff to stand out. You know, in a lot of groups, you don't even get a logo. So I've done a logo. There's a video on there, and actually, I might start. I will probably in the new year now put a kind of how-to guide together on how to make a collaboration for those that don't know how to put it together or arrange it or edit it. So I'm going to do something specifically for the group in the new year. It's been something I've been thinking about for a while. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Absolutely love it.
It's a shout out to DrumMan 190, Matthew.
I
mean,
yeah.
what he does for the community is really big, man. Like,
yeah,
I'd honestly never put any thought to, or I hate to say it this way, but not a whole bunch of care to how many subscribers I really have. But him like calling me out for one of his drummers to watch thing, and then everyone just started commenting, and I'm like, well, A, I didn't think it was that amazing to start, but thank you for including me.
Yeah, like I was saying, it was the first time that I had been involved in the community. I wasn't in a community before that. Now I've got mine saved. It was episode 10, October the 13th, 2020 was when, and I didn't even know it was a thing. I think somebody commented on my video, oh, congratulations on Drummers to Watch. I was like, what?
Yeah, same
and
thing.
then I found it. Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, this guy has featured me on his channel. And at the time he had like, you know, he's nearly got 7,000 subscribers now. I think he had about 5,000 at the time. So, you know, it was like, wow, okay, this guy is found me and found my track. And I don't know, I can't remember what track it was that he featured. Let me have a look. But yeah, and from then, I think at the time I had 30 subscribers. I remember when I post a video, I would have to text everybody I knew and kind of spam them to get up to 30 views. That's, you know, and now like I went from 30 subscribers to like 70 in a week. It was ridiculous. But that just catapulted me not only into the community, but my channel numbers, everything. You know, without Matthew doing that, yeah, I mean, I think I'm a year or two more ahead than I would be, definitely.
And I don't, it's not just Matthew. Like Matthew had like creeped in and made a comment on one of my videos early, and it was the same thing. I started getting hey, found you on this, and so I went and looked. But it's not just him. that and his help with the community, I've actually found some really, really great drummers as a result of the same channel. So I know this isn't about Matthew, but he deserves
No,
a shout
no,
out for
no,
what he
but yeah,
does.
no, he need props very much so,
Yeah, definitely.
very much so.
Do you know how many videos you actually have put out to this point? I know your first one was May
Yeah,
2019.
I did actually look at this. I'm approaching 250 published, but
Mhm.
that includes collaborations as well. Now, today I recorded, because the way I do my file system, I number them, my 143rd cover. So those extra videos of the collaborations are my live streaming, my monthly updates, any bonus videos I've done I've done a few. So I'm approaching 250 published now.
Wow.
And actually, so I do have some announcements coming up in January with a couple of changes with my channel, which I tease now. But since last December, I have, without a fail, released 2 covers a week. Because what happened when we hit December last year, I'm a big fan of Christmas. So I thought, right, I'm going to do an extra cover every week. I'm doing Christmas cover every Wednesday. And, I kept on top of it. So I had my normal cover and then the Christmas cover. And it hit January and it's like, okay, I'm just going to see how long I can keep on doing 2 covers a week for. And
Mhm.
I've done it. So this is the end of my 12 month of 2 covers a week. So
so,
do
so
the
the
maths. That's 104 covers. So I am going to do it for one more month because, of course, it's Christmas.
yeah.
But then I'm going to change how I'm doing things in January, mainly because and the only pressure put on me to do it was me. No one's pressuring me to do this, but it kind of took its toll a little bit. And what's been happening recently, as I've been playing harder songs, I've been rushing them or maybe recording them when they weren't 100% and really doing
Mhm.
myself justice, where I should have spent an extra few days or a week on a song.
Mhm.
So I am going to change how many I am doing a week, but it's going to be quality over quantity.
Cool.
And there's definitely covers I've recorded where I've still I've enjoyed every single cover I've done, but maybe chose a song where it was really quick to learn. Just to get a
Right.
cover. Okay, I need a second cover. Boom. You know what I mean? So, hopefully there'll be a bit of a difference in quality of my covers next year. There might be less, but having 250 already is a pretty good back catalogue as
It
well.
is. And I can tell from your t-shirts, you're doing multiple ones in a day. That's one of the things that I noticed as I was going through. The t-shirts are a
Yeah,
big giveaway, or you don't change your clothes ever. One of those two things.
yeah. Mix of both, but yeah, I think the most I've done in a day is 3,
Mhm.
because part of that number is also when I finish a grade book, I record that grade version. And there's a whole
Okay.
section on my website, and there's a playlist of these. So if anybody's learning that grade book, they've got to play along. Um, so on one day, I think I recorded one of them, a cover I was pretty, and 2 other covers I'd finished and just spent a day doing it. But what I'm also finding is, like, almost my entire weekend, it takes up a good 2-3 hours of my day, and to do 2 covers a week. And actually, hopefully my boss isn't watching, but now and again at work, I had time because I work from home. I had time to do a cover, but that's becoming less and less because I'm getting busier at work.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope my boss doesn't watch this.
Let's hope not. Or I'll edit it out for you. One of the
On my
two.
lunch break. On my
Yes.
lunch break.
On my paid breaks. Tell me about your music collection. Like
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't. I've always liked music. I was never really into music, right? I've never obsessed with it. I've always liked Foo Fighters, Papa Roach, Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit. I like any, if it's a good song, I like it. You know what I mean? I've been to a handful of concerts, so Linkin Park, Papa Roach, Foo Fighters, but only in my later life. So I've always,
mhm.
like I said, I was always like music, but I wouldn't say I was ever obsessed with it. But what this becoming a drummer has got me more into music. And again, going back to my drum teacher here, he teaches me about music as well. Like, he spent pretty much an entire lesson talking about Pink Floyd when he taught me to play one of their songs that we were working on.
Hmm.
So yeah, like I said, I've always enjoyed music, never obsessed with it, but now, I'm into music more now than ever, very
Is
much
there
so.
a song or a band that would surprise your viewers that you have in your music?
Ooh, I have maybe some guilty pleasures. I mean, McFly. I don't know if you have them in America. Do they
No, I don't
make
think
it
so.
across the pond?
Hmm.
Very cheesy pop rock, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
But I like a bit of cheesiness. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Anything else? Always like Phil Collins. Don't particularly know why. I think one of the first CDs I ever got was a Phil Collins CD, so that was a bit random. Big Michael Jackson fan growing up in the 90s. Is there anything that would surprise somebody? Probably not.
I
I'm not
think
ashamed. I'm not ashamed.
I think you organically pick things like one of the things, and this is really more old Michael Jackson than new Michael Jackson, and I'd say the same for
Mm,
Phil Collins. The drum tracks in those are phenomenal. They're just underrated. Like
mm.
it's like what I think is Against the Wall for Michael Jackson. Some of the drum beats in that are just crazy. Like you just have to listen to it to
Yeah.
really pull it apart.
I haven't done many Michael Jacksons. I've done Thriller. I
Hmm.
did recently Black and White, which was a lot of fun. Actually, I had a lot of fun doing Black and White. And Billie Jean, of course, was my first ever covers. It's in grade one book as well.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I haven't done a lot of MJ, and not that many Phil Collins either. I did In the Air Tonight. I mean, I tried that when I first started the drums, couldn't
Hmm.
play it, and I thought, okay, let me. I picked it up again recently, and what? Yeah, I can do it now. Not the entire thing, the main beat,
Yeah, it's
very
more
much so. And I
complicated than
did.
people think.
It is, and Another Day in Paradise, I did as well.
You picked a bunch of covers this time, so I at least wanted to include them because you spent the time doing it. But I really
Hmm.
enjoyed talking to you outside of the specific covers. So I guess the question is like, what is your thought process behind choosing them? I guess that you answer that question because it's off of the book that you're doing and so forth. But do do any of these songs have specific meaning to you? Like,
I mean the four that I sent you links for, so the ones that I've kind of highlighted. So Enter Sandman, Metallica.
okay.
Um, that is it's just a great song, isn't it? And like I said, it's a song I knew not a lot about, and I've only started really listening to Metallica since learning the drums. But for me, it was the first cover. I think it was a record for views and for like likes and comments on my channel, and it's a song that I felt I could play really really well. It's kind of one of those click moments, right? Where okay,
Hmm.
actually I think I'm a pretty decent drummer now. At least I can play this. So I chose that song for my first ever live stream. So my first live stream was a live Q&A,
Okay.
and I did always plan to do that as a live stream, but I didn't kind of tell anyone. And if I lost my nerve, I wasn't going to do it. But again, I chose that because I felt that at the time that was my strongest cover. And yeah, so it was the first one I ever performed in front of a live audience. I've never been on the stage. I've never been in a band. Um, so far, it's just been on YouTube. So to have that with a live audience was pretty cool, and I got through it. I made a couple mistakes, but nothing too major. So that song now means a lot because of my live streaming, and it was really the first epic song I felt I could play.
I
Very
tell
much
you,
so.
it's brave to live stream anything. I mean, especially with the internet critics.
On that note about potential trolls, as they were, I've actually, fortunately enough, not dealt with a lot of them. There's been the odd comment on a group and you just report it to the admin. There was actually the only one thing I've had on YouTube comment. I don't even know what I think they were Russian or Polish, and he made a couple comments on a Nirvana cover I did. And so I had to use Google Translate, and I don't know if it was because of the way it translated it, but it just made me laugh. And it was just really funny. But I mean, the only time I get annoyed by stuff is the thumbs down on YouTube. That just it the system winds me up not getting them because okay, it's going to be a part of it, and I do get the odd
Yeah.
occasional one. But when someone thumbs down something before it's even released, so I always do a premiere, right?
Hmm.
So, but if you click on a premiere and it hasn't shown yet, you can still click like or dislike. So somebody had clicked thumbs down and they hadn't even watched it yet. And I was like, okay.
That's what the internet has given us, though, is it's given us
Yeah,
people who like prejudge you because they only have 15
yeah.
seconds, and that
So
15 seconds is what they
yeah.
make a determination off of.
So is it like, okay, you don't like the song, the artist, or the band, or what? Because you
Yeah,
haven't even seen me play it yet.
yeah.
But anyway, but apart from that, I'm luckily, because that is the fear when you do start something, and yeah, I never really had anything to put me off or anything.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're asking to be judged by putting yourself out there one way or the other,
Yeah,
but the best answer to that really is just to largely ignore it.
yeah. Yeah.
And then the Foo Fighters song was the other one that I think that you sent me.
Yeah. So what Enter Sandman did, it got me into live streaming, and I started my new Epic series. So this is and something similarly that I'm going to start doing in January more and more. But my Epic series is choosing a song that I consider to be a really epic song and spend time on doing. So not just, okay, I'll learn it until I can play it, then record it and move on. A song that I know is going to take me 2 or 3 weeks or even a month. Keep working at it, challenge myself, and keep playing. So of course, my favorite band, Foo Fighters. Okay, what can I do with theirs? And there's so many of their songs I want to be able to play. But for me, that's next level. I mean, for me, my hero. Once I can play that, I will feel pretty accomplished as a drummer. And I'd like to get that for maybe when I've either got 1,000 subs or 1,000 videos. You know what I mean? So it's in the future, hopefully not too far away. So I was researching. Okay, what could I play potentially? And Learn to Fly, which is a great song. The challenge there was a bit of speed. I think it's about 130, which was at the time quite fast for me. And there's a few complex things going. So I approached it a lot differently. Um, I don't often practice to well, not my covers, my drum teacher work. I use a click track,
Mhm.
but I didn't use the metronome to learn a cover. So I thought, okay, these challenging parts, I'm just going to slow down. And once I can play it at 90, I'll move that up to 95, 100. And I did that on each section of the song. And then a few weeks went by and I could play it. But the other thing was, of course, it was setting that target date. Right, this time next month, I am going to be playing this song live. So that added challenge as well. And just, Foo Fighters, like I said, my favorite band. Learn to Fly, one of my favorite ever songs. So to be able to pull that off and do it live, yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. It means a lot to me now. Yeah, very much so.
I just shuffle through my music collection. That's really what my channel is. I'm just practicing. I don't sit down with the intent to do anything that I post. And one of the songs that I've shuffled through a couple of times that's a Foo Fighter song is Rope. Are you familiar with that
So
song?
good. Oh yeah, so good.
I can play that song all the way until the point where it hits the breakdown where he does like the cowbell thing. And I
Hmm.
never really get it on time. And then I just like it's a certain point, I'm like, whatever, I just move on. But the other song, what was the third one you said? Was it Black and White that you sent me?
Um, no, it's Last Resort, Papa Roach.
Oh, Papa Roach. Yep.
So, I mean, this is just an epic song. I mean, I remember this when it was released in the 90s. It's a phenomenal album, Infest, and phenomenal. And I had actually already done this cover, but I got a very basic version of it. So I can't remember the name of the website, but there's a website where it has different levels of. I played the beginner version of it,
Mhm.
which really didn't do it justice. As much as I was happy to record a Papa Roach song, it was, in the first year of my channel. So I thought, right, I want to do this one, but do it properly. And again, I took the same approach. I slowed it down, and yeah, I managed to play it again. It's such an immense song. One of my all-time favorite songs, and again, within a month, I learned it. I could play it really well. With that one, I don't think I did it on Learn to Fly, but with that one, there was still a couple of sections I couldn't play, but I managed to adapt it enough where it was close enough. I think it was going from, I think, the bridge to the chorus or something. There was like 16th notes on both toms. I
Mhm.
couldn't do it fast enough, so I did it on just one of them. So now I've said that, you guys will probably notice it, but it still worked because I was still
Yeah.
playing the tom, but
Yeah.
it just wasn't as instead of.
You,
But apart from that, I pulled it off.
it sounds like you're pretty critical though of the things you post up regardless.
Yeah. I mean, and going back to what I was saying about how all of my, I don't tinker with the audio at all. It comes to a point where, okay, if I know in most of my covers there's at least one mistake, even if it's a little one. But for me, that shows that it's authentic. It shows my progress. It shows it's real. But yeah, no, I know exactly where they are. If other people notice them, I don't know. No one ever comments, but I don't know if that's just because they're so kind, or is it like you said, am I being overcritical? Does it matter? Probably not. And in fact, only if you were following the song with the sheet music in front of you would you probably notice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm definitely my own worst critic, and I've already told you I think I'm mediocre, and I recognize talent when I see it. And then my own videos, like even the stuff I put up is mostly good, but I could tell you exactly where I messed something up. And that's you were making a comment about the bad comments or the thumbs down. The good comments are the ones that I really have the hardest ones to swallow, because I didn't think it was that great to start. So when people say that was epic or that was what I didn't think so, but thank you. Like I appreciate it, but either way, maybe this will be a shameless plug for somebody else. Like, do you have a favorite YouTube drummer? Do you have someone you?
Oh wow, I do actually. I
Ooh,
want
share
to
away.
just I want to talk about two people. So there's one guy, and I want to find out what his full name was. So his channel is MB Drums.
He is amazing.
Oh my God, phenomenal. Oh my God. I mean, even his, have you seen his series, Does It Need Double Bass?
Yeah. I watched the
Oh, it's
Thomas the
just,
Tank one last night.
it's hilarious. Yeah. My son, I was watching it with my son. He loves Thomas the Tank Engine. My son's like, this guy is phenomenal. I mean, to do that type of thing, I think it's got an awesome sense of humor as well.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but his covers are phenomenal. I mean, his double bass work is, particularly his Motley Crue stuff, is absolutely amazing. And I can't find his name anywhere, but yeah, his channel
I don't
is
know.
absolutely phenomenal. Martin Bellamy.
Is it Martin? Okay. Hey, I know
Martin
he's
Bellamy.
Canadian, which
Oh
is
my
why
God.
he's so
Yeah, yeah,
polite, but
yeah.
he's one of those, and I've as I've watched it appears to me that he is one of those humble, like understated people, but when you really watch what he's doing, he
Yeah,
really is good. Really is good. Who's the
yeah.
second one?
Uh, and I've actually just thought of a third as well. Second one, Chris Bates. Have you come across Chris
Oh,
Bates?
Chris, yeah,
He's
Chris Rich.
actually, yeah,
Talk about
he,
quantity.
he yeah. I know I know in the last few months he does a lot of stuff on live streaming, but I can't remember the name of the platform he uses. But it's not YouTube; it's something else. So no, so he's not on YouTube as much as he was. But his drumming is phenomenal. He's incredible, and actually, he's someone that I actually do a collab with, expecting him to not want to, just because I think he's so beyond me. Um, but he did, and we did Africa. But that was the first time I did a cover where I played to his drum instead of playing to the song, because I just wanted to compliment him. And that was Toto Africa. And lastly, the last channel I wanted to even plug. It's a young guy called Sam Beat7. His YouTube is. I assume it's 7 because he's 7 year old, or at least he was when he started the channel. But this kid is phenomenal for his age. His name is Sam Bickmore, and he's incredible. And I've collabed with him on Muse Hysteria, or was it Pressure? It was a Muse track. But he's for his age. I mean, I wish I'd started playing drums when I was his age. But I don't think I'm ever going to be as good as him.
That's great.
And
I'll have to
just
check
think
that
how
out.
good he's going to be in 10 years' time.
Just to go back to Chris Bates, if this
Yeah.
series takes off and I manage to get Chris on, the first question I'm
Oh,
going to ask him
man.
is if he has an actual job, because he puts out so many covers that I have to imagine he doesn't have one. But he is
I
really
know
good.
he's in the military.
Oh, maybe I guess that makes sense.
He's a drummer in the military because from and actually you know, obviously I'm in the drum community. There's a whole nother group of us from that community that we used to hang out at Daddy Drums live streaming every Sunday. It was kind of our get together, but also on Discord. It's called Drummers United. Rock Invader put that together, and then we've got a kind of our own chat going on there, and we support each other there. And Chris is part of that, and so he sends us photos when he's off on military duties, and of course he plays drums in the military as well.
I think that's everything I have really for the chat. And so I guess I'll throw this in because I should. Make sure you like and subscribe to Ash's channel. There'll be links obviously in the bottom here as far as the covers that we've talked about. I really hope you had a good time, Ash. Like,
oh no, awesome, brilliant. On behalf of the community, thank you for putting this together. I think it's going to be brilliant. It's a really great opportunity to not only get to know the drummer interview, but to get to know you as well.
well, thank you.